Welcome to our channel Aman Codes. In today's episode, we are going to discuss about interpreted. This is a future of a Python, and when we develop any Python program, let us assume that we are developing a Python program in order to do addition of two numbers. We must give some file name with an extension .py. Example file name .py. So we are going to develop a program which does sum of two numbers, right? So we are keeping the name of that file is sum.py. So here we can create that name like sum.py. So next, when we are going to execute a Python program, we have two processes. First is compilation process. Second one is execution process. So these compilation process and execution process we will see in a graphical representation diagram. Let us consider this diagrammatical representation. So here we have created a file with the name sum.py, right? So the Python interpreter will take this source code sum.py line by line and it checks for errors. If any errors is there, it will show to the console. If there is no error, the source code is automatically converted into an intermediate code. That intermediate code in Python we call it as bytecode. The so the bytecode extension is .pyc. See here, it is a bytecode. In our sum.py, there is no error, then it automatically generates a pyc file. So these pyc file intermediate code will be generated by Python interpreter if there is no error. Then after generating the bytecode, PVM comes under the picture, Python virtual machine. So this phase is going to be a compilation phase, and now this phase is going to be a execution phase. So here the sum.pyc, by using PVM, the bytecode is directly converted into machine understandable code. See, PVM reads line by line of bytecode and converted into machine understandable code. Machine understandable code is a binary code, contains 0 1 0 1 0 1 and etc. And that binary code understandable by the OS and the processor. Finally, it gives the results to the user. Whatever we write in that program, it is interpreted by Python interpreted line by line, and it generates a intermediate code called bytecode. If there is no errors, then the PVM comes under picture. PVM converts the bytecode line by line into machine understandable code that is understandable by the OS and processor. So finally gives result. So why it is called interpretation based programming language? Because it combines the interpretation phase and execution phase in line by line manner. So that is the reason it is known as interpretation based programming language. In compilation process, the Python source code submitted to the Python interpreter and it reads the source code line by line, check for the errors by verifying syntaxes. And if there is no error found, then the Python interpreter, if there is no errors found, then the Python interpreter converts that into intermediate code called bytecode with an extension .pyc, file name .pyc. Here our file name is sum.pyc. If errors found in source code, then we get error displayed on the console or the monitor. What this para says means in sum.py, if we got error, it shows in the monitor, or if there is no errors, the sum.py is converted into sum.pyc by using the Python interpreter. So next, this is compilation process. In execution process, the medium reads the Python intermediate code, byte code, PYC code. .py extension code line by line and converted into mission understandable code, executable or binary code. It is read by the OS and processor and finally gives the result. So what this para says means the Python interpreter is converted the source code to intermediate code. In execution process, it will take that intermediate code called bytecode line by line and it convert that bytecode into mission understandable code. In Python program execution, compilation process and execution process is taking place line by line conversion and it is one of the interpretation based programming language. That is the reason why Python is interpreted. So we are going to see about definition of PVM. So PVM stands for Python Virtual Machine. PVM is one program in Python software and whose role is to read line by line of bytecode and convert into machine understandable code, executable or binary code. So what PVM do means it takes the bytecode line by line and converts into machine understandable code. This is the interpreted. So next we are going to step in the next feature called robust. Robust in the sense strong. So why Python is robust? Using the concepts of exception handling, the Python becomes a robust programming language. What is exception? So every runtime error is known as an exception. So what is a runtime error means? If an user or end user enters an invalid input, then it comes under runtime error and every runtime error is known as an exception. Exception by default generates a technical error message and which is understandable by the programmers only, but not the end users. In industry recommended to convert the technical error message into user-friendly error message by using the exception handling. By use of exception handling, we can convert the technical error message into user-friendly error message. What is exception handling? The process of converting technical error message into user-friendly error message is known as exception handling. Why the Python is robust means by using the concepts of exception handling, Python is robust. It will show a user-friendly error message in Python program. I'm opening the Python command prompt. Here, a is equals to 1 by 0. If I type this, it shows an error, 0 division error, division by 0. So it is an user-friendly error message. So by using an exception handling concepts, the Python generates user-friendly error messages in order to understand this error by the end user. In this video, we have discussed about interpreted and robust. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.